big news with Marco returning to the club. He's obviously pretty well known to the fans, but maybe a little less to yourself. Just how big of a boost is adding a player of his quality to the squad?
Yeah, that's really exciting for us, and obviously for Tills as well, because he hasn't had much fun over the last 6 months since his move to Celtic. So really important that he wants to get back and start playing again, and start to get back to the form that he was before he left the club. So really excited to have him back.
Yeah. And have you had much at all to do with him ever in the past, or will this be the kind of first time you've worked with him?
No, I worked with him for a couple of camps with the Olyroos, so know him reasonably well. He's a great kid, and he's going to bring he should bring a bigger difference in terms of our attacking play as well.
Yeah. And he's obviously pretty familiar with a large part of the squad, really. Just will that make it a bit easier to integrate him when he returns from the Asian Cup?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a really easy fit for him. He knows most of the boys. I know we've had a fair bit of change in the off season. Talk 30 players, so he's going to fit in really seamlessly, and shouldn't have a problem.
Yeah. And going back to yesterday, we saw the news of Aziz leaving on loan, seemingly one that came out of the blue a bit there. Can you just talk us through the process of that and when you were made aware?
Well, I actually drove down the Monash freeway and almost drove off it when Michael rang me. It was a bit of a shock because he's obviously is a big leader for us, and also a very good player in a very important position. So it was a bit of a shock, but it's football. I understand it's quite a significant financial move for him for the 5 months, and you don't begrudge him. We understand it. It's not ideal for us, but we have to show some empathy, and I'm probably a little bit more like that sometimes, too much in terms of fulfilling people's wishes, and on the flip side, the club was certainly well looked after in terms of that loan deal on a monetary front. So at the end, I think it was just a good piece of business, and unfortunately that's how it is. But the point is that if we do get Aziz back at the end of the year.
Yeah. And I know you said it kind of came as a bit of a shock to you, but it make it a little bit easier to let him go, having seen kind of the team play without him over the last month or so?
Look, there's always guys ready to jump in, and that's always very, very pleasing. A lot of guys in our team deserve to play, but are being kept out for performance, and sometimes it's my own preference. It doesn't surprise me, but obviously, when you lose quality player like Aziz, it certainly does hurt. So we've managed, and hopefully we continue to manage throughout the course of the season.
Yeah. And just wrapping up what's been a pretty big week of transfer news at the club, the other inclusion we've seen is Jimmy Jago. You must be pretty excited to get a player of his quality in pretty much straight after the departure of Hamza.
Yeah, that was that happened reasonably quick after Hamza's departure. He brings a lot of experience. Jimmy's been around for quite a while. He's successful. He's won championships. He will give us that little bit of extra steel that we need in midfield. And he's also a very, very strong leader. So it's going to take him a couple of days to get into the swing of things. He's had a pretty busy week since he's been back. In time he should fit it really, really nicely. So really pleased to have him, and he's played consistently 30-odd games a season for the last 4 or 5 years. So in terms of match sharpness and all those sorts of things, he's spot on.
And you mentioned it's been a pretty busy week for him since landing in Melbourne. Just how has he settled in? Is there a chance that he might be travelling to Perth this week and could make a club debut?
He's definitely travelling, and he missed our first couple of sessions in the week, obviously, because just arriving. Also had to get through his medical, and then we were obviously waiting for medical clearance. So he trained fully yesterday. We'll train again today. He's in the travelling party. He's not going to start, but I'm sure at some stage he should get some minutes.
And you mentioned last week that both Lecky and Mariniaklis were getting close to a return. Are they any chance to make the trip to, or is it just kind of a wait and see after training today how they pull up?
Well, Marin's ready to go, but because of the hamstring and closer to the tendon injury, that we're going to give him an extra week. But he's absolutely fine. And Lex has been training with the group now for almost a couple of weeks, so he's at the travelling party as well. So it's really nice to have him back because he was certainly an important player for the team.
Yep. And it seems like kind of after, the last month or so of being tested a bit for depth on the wings there, your sport for options now, obviously Andy Naboo's made a few substitute appearances. How's he kind of pulled up after that 8-day break, and is he another one that could be in the mix for a starting spot this week?
Yeah, he is. He's brought up really well. He still has some issues at times because of that injury, but we just offload him a little bit, and he's super fresh, super keen. He had a really good training week, so he's ready to go.
And it's a bit of an interesting kind of schedule, but you played Perth away less than 2 months ago. It was a 2-1 win that day. Pretty chaotic game from memory. Are you expecting a similar game to that, or have they kind of changed a bit of the way they play since then from what you've seen?
Yeah, well, they lost Ollie Bozanic obviously in the midfield, and they're certainly playing a lot better than they were at the beginning of the season, that's for sure. They've had some really good results. They've had a nice result last game against Macarthur. Expecting a tough game. Always you get a tough game against Perth. It doesn't matter where they are on the table. They're certainly going to be difficult. But we need to play like we did last week and continue that consistency over the full 90 minutes. I'm sure if we do that, then we should have enough quality to get a win. But we really need to do the work. There's no substitute for it. We need to do it. I'm sure if we can, then we should come away with points.
And last one for you, we're now at about the halfway point of the season. Next couple of weeks sees a couple of tricky away trips and another Melbourne derby. Just how crucial will these next few weeks be in the context of the season?
Yeah, look, every game's important. You see the table is very, very close. I think even up to 10th position can still squeeze into the top 3 or top 4 with a couple of wins on the trot, and now we're in a period, we had 2 losses in a row. We bounced back well against Adelaide last week, and now we have Perth away, Brisbane away, and then the derby. So certainly the 2 away games are always tricky. The derbies is in terms of getting motivated for a game like that, but the next 2 away games are going to be vital.